he's giving you a clue on who he is. And we're going to go precept upon precept, line upon line, putting scripture together, getting understanding. John 5:37. And the Father himself, which has sent me, hath borne witness of me. Ye have neither heard his voice at any time, nor seen his shape. Whoo-wee. Jesus made a big statement right there. You have never seen the Father at any time, nor seen his shape. But if we read back in Exodus chapter 24, which we're getting ready to go to right now, the children of Israel did see God, and they did hear God. So that's where we're getting ready to go to right now. Exodus chapter 24 and verse 1, which says, and he said unto Moses, come up unto the Lord, thou and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and worship ye afar off. Go down to verse 9. Then went up Moses and Aaron and Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders. Verse 10. And they saw the God of Israel, and there was under his feet as it were a paved work of sapphire stone, and as it were the body of heaven in his clearness. The Bible said that they saw the God of Israel. Verse 11. And upon the nobles of the children of Israel he laid not his hand. Also they saw God, and did eat and drink. Well, who is this God that they saw? Who is this God? Because nobody has ever seen the Father. That came out of Jesus' mouth. So we're getting ready to run this God down. Who is this God? Let's read verse 12. Verse 12. And the Lord said unto Moses, come up to me into the mount, and be there, and I will give thee tables of stone, and a law and commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. So we see that this God that they saw gave them commandments and gave them laws so that they can be taught to the children of Israel. And it was Israel's job to get themselves together so that they can teach the rest of the world what is expected of God. So this God gave commandments, okay? This God is the God that they saw, but not the Father. Understand what I'm trying to say. Understand where I'm going. So let's go to Psalm 78. We're getting ready to track down this God. We're getting ready to see who this is, because this is going to clear up a lot of misunderstanding in Christendom. Psalm 78, verse 10. Let's get it. They kept not the covenant of God and refused to walk in his law. So they didn't keep the covenant. They refused to walk in this law. The same God in Exodus chapter 4 who gave the law to Moses so that he can teach the children of Israel. Verse 11. And forget his works and his wonders that he had showed them. Marvelous things did he in the sight of their fathers in the land of Egypt, in the field of Zoan. Verse 13. Pay attention. He divided the sea, keyword, and caused them to pass through, and he made the waters to stand up as an heap. The key word in this scripture is he divided the sea and caused them to pass through. Key words, because that's getting ready to come up in some upcoming scriptures. Verse 14. In the daytime he also led them with a cloud, and all the night with a light of fire. So he divided the sea, caused them to pass through, led them with a cloud. Okay, keywords. Let's go to Psalm 78:19. Skip down to 19. Yea, they spake against God. They said, can God furnish a table in the wilderness? Verse 20. Behold, he smote the rock that the waters gushed out, and the streams overflowed. So we see here that the children of Israel was complaining. Oh, we're hungry. Oh, we're thirsty. Can God do this? Can God do that? They asked for water. God made water come out of a rock. So now he's saying in verse 20, in the middle of 20, and the streams overflowed. Can he give bread also? Can he provide flesh for us? Okay, Lord, you gave us something to drink. Now we want something to eat. Okay, verse 21. Therefore the Lord heard this and was wroth. So a fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger also came up against Israel, because they believed not in God and trusted not in his salvation. So they got mad. They asking all the questions, can God do this? Can God do that? And God is giving them, God is showing them things. God just brought them out of Egypt with a mighty hand with 10 plagues. They saw the rivers turn into blood. They saw the frogs that was ran all over Egypt. They saw when God made it completely dark that you can't even see your hand right in front of your face. They saw when he killed every child 2 years old and under in the land of Egypt. They saw all of this. And they're still asking, can God do this? Can God do that? So let's go down to verse 24. 78:24. And had rained down manna upon them to eat, and had given them of the corn of heaven. Man did eat angels' food, and sent them meat to the full. So now we see that God rained, when they asked for bread, God rained manna down from heaven to eat. Verse 25 says, man did eat angels' food, spiritual food. This was food that was not produced on this earth. It came down from heaven, so therefore it is spiritual food. So remember these key words. Back up to the verse 13. He divided the sea, caused them to pass through, led them with a cloud, manna upon them to eat, and man did eat angels' food. All of this, Paul is getting ready to tell us something in 1 Corinthians chapter 10. Okay, but before we go there, let's go to Deuteronomy 32:15. Deuteronomy 32 and 15. Deuteronomy 32 and 3. I'm sorry, let's go to Deuteronomy 32 and 3. Okay. Because I will publish the name of the Lord, ascribe ye greatness unto our God. He is the rock. His work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment, a God of truth, and without iniquity. Just and right is he. So, who is the rock? God is the rock. Okay, I want to bring that up because that's going to come up in 1 Corinthians chapter 10. So now let's go there. 1 Corinthians chapter 10. And Paul is getting ready to tell us something. He's getting ready to tell us what we just read and who is this God that did all these wonderful works. Who is this God that rained manna upon them? Who is this God that gave them bread, that struck water out of a rock for them? Who is this God that split the Red Sea and caused them to pass through, who followed them in the cloud? Who is this rock? 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 1. You ready? Let's read. Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant, how that all our fathers were under the cloud, key word, and all passed through the sea, another key word. Verse 2. And were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and did eat the same spiritual meat. Didn't we just read that he made manna fall down from heaven? That man did eat angels' food, so therefore it is spiritual meat. And did all drink the same spiritual drink? Then we just read that he struck water out of a rock. Now we know that rock cannot hold water. So where did the water come from? God, which makes it spiritual drink. Finishing that verse, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them. We just read in Deuteronomy 32, verse 3 and 4, that the rock is God. Perfect is he in all his ways. That rock that followed them, and that rock was Christ. You never heard that before. You never put 2 and 2 together. That's why he gives us a method on how to study his scripture. Line must be upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. A little in the Old Testament, little in the New Testament, brings this big picture called voila, understanding. Hold your spot in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, because we're getting ready to go back there. Let's go to Numbers chapter 21, because we're getting ready to get a clue here. Something happened in Numbers chapter 21, 5 and 6, and we're getting ready to correlate that with 1 Corinthians 10, 8 and 9, I believe. Or whatever. All right, let's go. Numbers 21, 5 and 6. Are we ready? Let's get it. Verse 5. And the people spake against God and against Moses. Wherefore have ye brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loatheth this light bread. Verse 6. And the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much people of Israel died. So this Lord that they was complaining to, Oh, you send this bread down from heaven. We don't want this. We've been eating this for too long. Can you give us meat? Can you give us something different? They were asking God out of just lust what they wanted, instead of God was giving them what they needed. They were asking for what they wanted. God was trying to sustain them. They were trying to be greedy. Okay. So verse 6, and the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much of Israel died. Now let's go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 10, and let's read something here. Starting with verse 8. Neither let us commit fornication, as